Bobby here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Isabel at Chabe Escalante. She's a freelance illustrator based in Mexico, so that's nice. Lots of followers, so she's pretty well established on Twitter, and I believe she does have an Instagram, and she pretty much posts the same thing, so it's not that different. But I'll link the links in the description below. Her style is quite different to mine, or what I would normally lean to, but I do like her gestural work, and a lot of her drawings or illustrations are very fluid, dynamic, and they're very attractive. Even if it's outside of my interests in terms of style, it's still, I don't know, it makes me feel things. Even the cover here, I don't know, there's something sensual about the way she does her characters, which I do like, so that's cool. But yeah, a lot of her works doesn't involve a lot of line work. A lot of her line work is, or pencil lines, they're not exactly super inked. They don't feel finished. I don't know, like it's always presented as something that's web meaning it's a work in progress drawing in some way, but even if it's incomplete, I mean, she does have full illustrations where it's somewhat more colored and shit, but I don't know, it looks so fluid and dynamic. I mean, even her face looks so simplified. There's hardly any lines. It feels so precise to me, and I think that's why I'm very attracted to the style. Even if it's outside of my norm, it just seems so fluid and efficient. I'm not sure if this is her first draft, like the pencil sketch, but it feels so, well, maybe I was gonna say perfect, but you know, no one's that perfect. But I don't know, why is it so like fluid and shit? So here we have a sketch of this boss babe, I believe. I love the pencil though. Obviously this was done digitally, so I'm not sure if she's selling her brushes, but I do like it. You know, I like the look. It's very natural looking. I do love the texture of her line work, which is nice, but it's so gestural, very simplified. It feels more like an exercise drawing or practice drawing, but I'm guessing here, but I do think she did a rough sketch in the beginning, because I mean, who does a good sketch like this from the very beginning? I mean, maybe she did but to me it's a bit too perfect, and it's so precise. Like, it's so simple, but it's pretty precise at the same time. The folds are amazing. Even the way the boobs were done, I mean, it's so like it's only like 3 lines, like one line, and then a curved thing here. I mean, there's hardly any rendering, but it feels solid. So I think her portfolio is a good example of how shapes dominate, or you don't need a lot of rendering or shadow work to communicate an idea. And I think that's why a lot of artists emphasize drawing first before painting, because it's pretty fundamental, and you pretty much need it for everything, or you don't need much to communicate an idea. That's why I think it's almost always recommended. Love the shoes, very simplified, but it feels weighted, like she's standing on her own weight, which is nice. She does have a very short torso, I believe, or maybe the pants are just high waist, because there's a lot of chicks like doing this kind of style with the high waisting. Kind of weird, but you know. Anyway, here we have the same boss babe, boss bitch. Again, look at the line work. It's so gentle. I love the line weight. It's not just about the line work, but the line work, or a lot of the line work is based off of, or the line weight contributes to how fuck me. The line weight contributes to how well the line work is, right? For example, the bottom of the palm, it's way heavier, right? This part of the thing is not too thick. Why? Because it doesn't have to be. It's not under, right? This part of I think the border of the entire character is a bit more solid, so there's a bit of that Art Nouveau kind of vibe. But there's enough line variety here to make it look cool, interesting. Even the way the hair was done, very light line work, and she did color the lines for the hair. So there's a feature in Photoshop where if you click that button thingy, shit, you can color a specific or within certain lines. A lot of comic book artists color their line works in some areas. Not always. A lot of blacks in their work, black inks, but for certain areas they do like to color the line work. So again, look at the facial expression. There's hardly any lines. It's so gentle and slender. Even the clavicles, so simplified, but it feels so right. Even the buttons, the way the folds were done. I mean, there's hardly any rendering here, but it looks nice. And the mood is it's super communicated. Oh, here we have the boss babe bitch again. Pew pew. Wow. Now she did blur this part. She's pretty rough with this area. Kind of makes sense because it's not exactly the main focus of attention. It's more about her. And yeah, she did use a blur thing here to make it more less important, which is kind of cool. It's not normal whenever you see line sketches like these or artworks in this style, the blur thing isn't usually done. It's usually left as a flat piece. So this kind of makes it more dynamic, or it adds more to that 3D, or it makes it more alive in some way because it feels like it's part of an actual scene, you know? So it's not just a line work. But again, the pencil sketch is very gestural, very efficient. Maybe she does have a solid base or background in gesture drawing, it feels like to me, because her lines are so fluid. So even the hair, it's so wavy and shit. And her poses are almost always on point. I do like the choker. Oh, I mean, she is kind of a boss bitch, so she's kind of freaky in some way. And I mean, bruh, she's pretty open about things. And yeah, again, with the folds, it's not that super refined or defined, but it's enough to communicate how her polo is roughly loose or tucked in, you know? So it communicates that she's kind of a laid back boss bitch. I mean, yes, very active, somewhat of a kinky type of, kind of a bad influence as well, but very loose, very nonchalant. Is that the word, nonchalant? Or just not as pressured with life, you know? Here we have, I do love her pieces of, or I do like her, she has a lot of these sorts of things where it's, where she has a reference photo and she studies or does a break, not a breakdown, but she just, not copies, but she's essentially practicing her drawing skills. And I do like how she posts or she shares the actual reference photo, because it proves to you that you do need to study with actual references. You can't just make shit up with your mind eventually, sure, but maybe this is one of the reasons why she's really good with her line work, is because she's actually practicing with reference. You know, I think that's such a big issue a lot of us have as artists, like this refusal, this stubbornness to study with reference. I mean, bruh, just grab a photo that you like and study. Kind of like Isabel here, or Chabe Escalante. Oh, she does another study of this. I believe this is a cosplay chick. I will link. Should I link her link? I mean, you can just check out Isabel's profile for the link. But this is a study of this character. Now, this chick is cosplaying Power. She's an anime character from Chainsaw Man. It's one of my favorite anime so far. And yeah, same technique here. Very simplified line work, very gestural. Even the face, it's in her style. The nose, the mouth, it's just a bunch of lines. Not much to it, but the expression is somewhat there. Kind of moody. And yeah. Again, not much detail, but it's mostly about the shapes, the gesture and the shapes, the flow of the shapes. And I do like that she does have a mix of like sharp edges and smooth corners, or edges as well. Another sketch here, fan art of Ho Ao ex Anna. I'm not sure where this is from, but I believe, you know, according to her, it's fan art. So there you go. Again, very gestural. You can see, especially with this dude. I believe it's a dude or a chick. Who knows? Hard to see, but you can just tell by the line work. It's very efficient or simplified. Enough. It's enough. That's what I like about her work. It's enough. And you can tell she's kind of blushing here. Hey! Bro, this one did have a lot of likes, 24k. And I think it does look like an actual poster, like a print of something. So she did add a bit of texture in the end. It's still a bunch of flats, although it feels like a gouache painting. It does have a natural vibe to it. It almost feels like some kind of editorial illustration. The style, it's pretty flat, but the texture makes it... I think this is some kind of poster or something. I mean, yeah, oh shit. Just a sketch. Sorry. apparently this is just a sketch, guys. Okay. Oh, she does have this character, this green babe or this green-haired babe. So she's kind of similar to the boss babe, the boss bitch, but the hair is the only thing that's somewhat different. So here we have a study of a guy. Great. It's a great study. I think this is one of the biggest reasons why Isabel is great with her line work. The way she can simplify a reference photo of any person character in this kind of way. It's enough. Not very complicated, doesn't waste time with the details, just enough. The only thing that's pretty detailed here is maybe the hand because it has more shapes, but that's pretty much it. Here we have the green babe again. She does have a bunch of tattoos. The way the folds are done, very simplified, but you can get the feel that it is somewhat of a pajama, so she's maybe at home relaxing with her slippers. Again, there's a lot of character emotion, even with this lack of lines. I mean, there's hardly any line work here, but it still gets the job done. The expression does carry most of the mood, and of course the actual pose does contribute highly to the vibe of the character. Same babe. It's the green-haired babe. Tattoos, kind of hot. A nice bracelet here. Very loose type of clothing. Very sensible. I do like it. And again, the variety of line weights. It's not always thick. It's not always thin. Some parts are. It almost feels like a gouache illustration, even though it's not fully rendered. Even if it feels flat, because it is rendered in a flat way, it still feels. Maybe she does add a bit of grit. Who knows? I can't really see it, but maybe there is a bit of grit in the colors. So there's maybe a bit of slight texture. It's hard to see, but or maybe it's because of the line work, because there is some texture work in the brush for the line, so it feels more natural, I think. The pose is great. I feel the vibes, the stare, looking into my eyes. Anyway, according to her, she does love drawing this character of hers, this green-haired babe. I love the scars here, or not scar, it's fresh. The cuts, so she feels very on point. She's still rather anyway. The pose is great, same coloring scheme, so it's the same character, but yeah, simplified face. Even if she's standing, because of the hair, it feels like she's moving, like she just twisted her torso. So the hair does carry most of the weight when it comes to communicating movement. Everything else is just somewhat stable, but the hair does carry the movement of this chick, or at least it communicates the idea that she just moved. And of course, the bleeding part, no shit, she just fucking got shot. Maybe something or a bullet scraped her, who knows. But yeah, pretty cool. Here we have another babe. She's more of a redhead. No pain, no gain. Is it no gain? I think so. Kind of hot. Again, look at the line work, simplified. Even the way this tank top was done. The interior of it. There is some slight shadow work here, so it's a bit more rendered, I would say, I guess, compared to her other flat illustrations or sketches. And yeah, again, I do like the way she does her face. Very simplified. She does have her own style, but if you check out her Twitter or Instagram, she does have a variety of styles as well. Like, she can mold into these different things and have different styles. So that's pretty cool. Although I do have a lean towards this, or I'm more attracted to this kind of style because reasons. The way the folds were done here, very simplified, very suggested. And I think that's why I like her work. It's also somewhat sketchy, even if it feels refined, it's not as finished. Is that the word? Or it's not as tight. It feels very loose, even if the colors say are somewhat contained. In her case, they're usually flat colors, and with a bit of shadow work sometimes, but not much rendering to it. So I do like that aspect of it. Very simplified, but it still gets the idea out. Here we have Power again from Chainsaw Man. She's bleeding. In this case, the accent color here is orange. So that's interesting. She does do the hair in a similar way, the same with the face. Like she does have style or a methodology for simplifying the waves for the hair. You'll see this in anime inspired artworks as well. Like there is like a system for, or there are many systems for drawing or illustrating hairs. And yeah, and you can tell a lot or say a lot with the hair. So you can tell her hair is somewhat frizzy. So she was obviously doing something beforehand, and now she's kind of on a standstill. And you can tell she's somewhat bleeding. So I don't know. It still communicates something. Like this scene is a snapshot of something that just happened, and she's kind of just stuck there thinking. I love the folds of the arm here of the sleeve, the necktie hanging from her chest, pretty cool. The ears are simplified, nice lips. Oh, here we have the boss babe again, the boss bitch. So maybe was this the original sketch? I'm not sure if she will leave this or if she will draw over this rough sketch again for the main line work, who knows. But I do think she does it in one go, maybe. I think so. I mean, just look at her practice sessions with the reference on the side. I think it's quite possible that she does it in one go. Again, simplified pose, kind of makes sense. She's very chill. She's sitting in a dominant but relaxed position, and she does have a devious smile there. I like it. There's not much coloring to it, no shading. Maybe with the body, but that's it. But it's a flat thing. It's not a shading, it's just a flat color. But it still communicates her emotion, her vibe. So, oh, I think for this piece, she did share the reference photo. There you go. So she does put the reference photo on the side, and then I think it's within the program, or within the actual canvas, and then she does the line work. I mean, look at the line work here. Pretty amazing. Pretty simplified. Maybe she'll do another line work over it, perhaps. Oh, I can see a bit of a base or some lines behind this main line work. So, yeah. Although I don't think she draws over and over and over again. I think she'll have a few sketches beforehand, and then she'll do like a final sketch where the line work isn't really inked per se, but it's a more refined pencil or a more planned out pencil mark. But yeah, it still works. Very efficient way of sketching, very fluid, very dynamic. And yes, she does use reference photos. Yeah. So if you're planning to, or if you're interested in working on your gestural drawings, and if you're struggling with the most basic thing, which is drawing, I do recommend you check out the work of Isabel, especially if you're trying to go for more character designs or character driven stories. I do think you need to be good somewhat at gesture drawing to be able to communicate what your characters are doing. And yes, I think Isabel is a great example of how you should be studying with reference photos, because it's going to help you create your own characters, and not only create your own characters, but be able to present your characters in the best light, because you've based a lot of your experience from real life subjects, right? So don't be afraid to use reference photos, practice like Isabel here. And if you're again struggling with your painting, maybe take a step back and do some drawings like Isabel or at Shabe Escalante. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next art review.